here at York for a chance to win the conference for the first time since 2006. Bobby, what do you think of the matchup?
Well, we have York and not Oak Park, Proviso West. Proviso West, they're at 4-18. They aren't the greatest school in terms of basketball. They're at the bottom of the conference, but they are very aggressive. They will come out aggressive, and they'll show that aggressiveness. And it should be a very intriguing matchup. And we had one heck of a weekend, to say the least. Now, Vince Dorn, Coach Dorn, versus Proviso, is an all-time 10-5. His last loss came February 16th of 2018. That was at Proviso. Now, what is on the line for York tonight? Well, many things. A conference championship is on the line. First one since, like AJ said, 2006. And then a win would protect their sectional spot, which they will vote on tomorrow, and we will know Thursday morning where they will be. Whether it be being a 1, 2, or even 3 seed, which very well could be the chance. And then heading into a revenge game versus Hinsdale Central. And that should be very intriguing, as Hinsdale Central is right on our tail for conference. So if we win, we would clinch it because Hinsdale Central is not there. They have 3 losses. York has 1.
And I would like to go back to the point you made about a crazy weekend, and that it was.
Oh my gosh.
On Friday, we got news that Nate Shockey was likely diagnosed with mono. York fought well, though, over the weekend. Lex Harrison, Jeffrey Grace came up big with a conference win there. And as you said, if York wins this game, it will be massive, because not only will they clinch their first conference since 2006, but it really will be a statement win for sectionals going into it. It's their second last home game. Everyone's excited for it. Of course, senior night coming up. Yeah, this has been a really exciting season for the Dukes, and Proviso West coming in at 4-18, looking to close their season on something to build on for next year. If you're Proviso, what's your message to the players here?
Just come out, be aggressive, be physical. That's the message that I would have to say. And we want to talk about Saturday. I was there. It was hectic. We were going into Oak Park River Forest. York had not won there since 2015. That changed for the first time in 5 years. York beat Oak Park River Forest, being down 7 at one point in the third quarter, and they won 53-42. So, and what I saw from that is we called up Drew Kircher, who was on the sophomore team, and he was very big. Like you mentioned, Jeff Grace, Lex Harrison. Drew Kircher also stepped up and was in a very big way. And I'm excited for this one. I'm excited to see what either of these guys have the potential to do. And it should be a very intriguing game.
And with the point of Drew Kircher, the sophomore team instantly took a hit without him. It shows how big of an impact he not only made on their team, but he got minutes on varsity. He's poised to play huge today. And that brings us to today. Nate is still out, but we are not sure if he even has mono.
It's
what
very questionable.
What we do know is York can win conference today for the first time since 2006, so that's something to be excited about, Duke fans. And, yeah.
And we have now Coach Lip, who finishes cancer treatment. Coach?
Thank you guys for everything and giving me shout-outs and keeping me informed when I was home fighting cancer. You guys meant the world to me, and I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Bobby. Let's go get him, Dukes.
You're welcome, Coach. And we'll have the national anthem right now.
24, Lex Harrison. And another guard, 25, Jeff Grace. And forward for the Dukes tonight, number 33, Nick Hesh. And at the final forward spot, number 50, Tim Glavin. Coached by Mr. Ben Storm.
All right, we are ready. Hopefully you are. York and Proviso West is about to get underway, and AJ will take this one away. AJ?
Well, we just heard the starting lineups announced for York and Proviso West. And if you didn't know Nate Shockey was out with mono, this would seem like a shocker to see a player in his role. But based on Friday, without Nate, York played pretty well. I don't think York fans should be too worried about this matchup against 4-18 Proviso West, but anything could happen, and that's why college basketball is so fun to watch. And if you are Proviso West here, what are some X factors you're looking for to potentially stay in the game and dethrone a York team looking for conference?
We'll be aggressive. I feel like I've said that so many times. The big thing here is being aggressive and grabbing rebounds, finishing strong, and that's the big thing. And York is going to look to do the same thing. They're a very good offensive rebound team, defensive rebound game. And Timmy has already won the tip, and we're underway.
It's Jeffrey Grace now with it at midcourt. And Jeffrey Grace has been a staple of this York team all year. Defense lately been turning out on offense as well, but there is a new addition to the starting lineup right there, Lex Harrison.
And Luke Malaga. I was very surprised we wouldn't see either Milo Man or Brando start in the position of Malaga, but they're both coming off illness. And Brandolino has not had a starting spot in a few games, so it wouldn't make the most sense. But it's good to see that we have Jeff and Lex starting. And Lex has proved himself, and he did that at Oak Park on Saturday. I mean, 14 points, and he almost threw down a dunk, too. He missed. He almost dunked on a guy, so that was pretty entertaining.
On the topic of players who've been stepping in, I feel like someone who's known their role all year is Nick Hesh. See him starting here today as he has all season. It's Proviso West on the fast break. Great block there.
Well, Nick was wide open. He was wide open down in the post. I think Jeff was actually originally trying to get it there to him. It never managed to get there.
And now it is Proviso West with the basketball. A player to look out for on their team is Genesis Mallet Floyd. Say that one 5 times fast, but he's been on the team for many years now. He's a staple to their offense. Number 23 on the court is Genesis Mallet Floyd.
A quick York foul, Malaga. He was in a lot of foul trouble at Oak Park.
Brody picks up the steal there. Now it's Malaga with it in the backcourt, being guarded on what appears to be a half-court press by Joseph Amo. It looks like they're running the trap defense we saw York bring out late in the tournament, trying to come back against Bolingbrook. Didn't work, but it did work for Proviso West there on that defensive stand, as they now have a 3-on-2 man break. Great defense there from Hesh. Locked him down.
Backcourt. Some players we might see play today stretch from all the way Denton Rohde all the way down to Tyler Olsen potentially.
And speaking of just that insane York depth, you look at their bench, goes all the way across. Proviso West has 3 players on their bench currently. Not the most deep team in the conference, but nonetheless, the 4-18 record does not display the force they have been to be reckoned with in recent years. York's a very respectable program, and they're 10-5 against Proviso West.
Well, also you've seen that this year. Going in, everyone's like going into the is Glavin and will shoot 2. Going in to the Proviso West game about a month ago now, everyone was saying, oh, York will win by 30, York will win by 20. That wasn't the case. They won by 6 or 7. I mean, the X factor there was Jeff Grace being hurt and all.
Rodney makes one of his free throws.
That's Glavin,
and it is entertaining to watch these Proviso West cheerleaders with their cheers during all the free throws. Certainly affected the sophomore game, as who else but Genesis Mallet Floyd to get the scoring going for Proviso West.
Well, York is a team without Shockey. You'll think they'll start off slow, and that was the case. I think that was a carry or a double dribble. They will start off slow, but they were a team, they had 26 fourth quarter points. And at the end of the day, 26 fourth quarter points is very impressive.
Absolutely. And Proviso West, a team that likes to keep the pace up on offense, and clearly getting Genesis Mount Floyd in the game here early. Great takeaway there from Malaga. Jeffrey Grace working through the trap now, gets it across half court with no trouble. Lex Harrison being trapped. Hesh open in the paint again. They do not find him, but they do find the open man outside. Luke Malaga. Jeff Grace off the mark.
That was Lex.
That was Lex. Jeez, I'm all over the place right now.
I know you haven't been feeling well the past few days. Is that correct?
Yes, it is, but
You think you have impaired vision? Your vision impaired a little bit?
Possibly. Well, it's Joseph Amo now with it up top. Gives it off to Xavier Cabral. He's the lockdown defender for this team. Really was the X factor in all 4 of their wins. If Proviso wants to win this game, he's going to have to continue to work that trap and just play the role that he's known for playing on this Proviso West team, as he has for 2 years now. Proviso West gets the offensive rebound.
That's their second. No one was there. That's a foul.
Now, watching this game with just over 4.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, I would not believe you if you said that this Proviso West team was 4-18. They've brought the energy, they've cut the pace up, and they've done a great job locking down York on all quarters. And there he is on the court, sophomore Drew Kircher. As you said, makes a massive impact without Nate here. Got called up and just already playing to a high level and playing a lot of minutes.
He's a guy who's not afraid to shoot. He's not afraid to drive either. He was called up and he wasn't afraid to do anything. And that's something that Coach Dorn looks at as a player. He's going to say, do I want a guy who's going to be afraid to shoot, or do I want a guy who's confident? And a little delayed there getting on defense. Shot was no good.
Drew Kircher does remind me a little bit of the situation with Nick Hesh last year. Something similar happened. Hesh was called up to varsity, got a couple minutes, and it's clear how well it helped groom him into the player he is this year. This is going to be huge for Drew, getting the varsity minutes, as he's already playing. He got put in with over half of the first quarter left. I'm sure he'll be an impact in this one.
We got put in a big game versus Oak Park, and talking to him before that game, I was like, I asked him if he was ready. He's like, I am ready. So he has that confidence. He has that confidence for him.
Now that is
Denton Rohde. He's a very good free throw shooter, probably the highest percentage on the team. That's hard to believe.
And Artwan Nichols already has 2 fouls, but they're not opting to take him out of the game. Interesting coaching decision from Proviso West. It's clear he must be a huge part of this team if they trust him to stay in with 2 fouls with just over half of the first quarter gone. Delayed travel call from the ref. Doran loves it. Players love it. Cheerleaders seem to like it as well.
Which cheerleaders? The York cheerleaders?
The Dukes
Okay, I was
cheerleaders,
like,
yes.
we have Proviso West right in front of us, and on the far side of the court is York. Jacob Brandolino, who's checked in for the first time. He had a big 3.
Oh, good dish into Rohde, just wasn't ready for it there. Kircher picks up his first foul of the game. Maybe experiencing a little bit of what Hesh did earlier on in the season. It's easier for these younger players to foul. It's easier for them to almost be called on. Just got to keep his head up, and Drew will continue to make the impact he has so far on varsity.
Well, seeing him play at the sophomore level, he reminded me a lot of York's star last year, Nick Kosic, a great 3-point shooter, pass first point guard, and that's what Drew has reminded me of. And not going to say he will be the next Nick Kosic, but you hope for the best, as he's already grabbed a rebound.
And going back to how he plays typically in sophomore games, you don't hear his name called very often, and you look up at the scoreboard and he has 21 points. Seems to happen all the time with him. He's a sharpshooter.
Quiet.
He can score on all fast breaks, but he is a pass-first kind of player, which is very impressive that he still puts up the points because he has a deadly shot, and it's just great to see. With 2:53 to go in this first quarter, we'll be right back. It's only 2-2 thus far, very low scoring. We'll be back after this timeout. following the timeout. It's now York 2 basketball. I think it was the right call there by Doran to let Drew Kircher get used to the play and just call the timeout there. Hesh from the corner, that's his spot. Not right there though. Rhodey rebounds over his own teammate. He's going one-on-one in there.
Called charge.
It appeared that Rhodey, maybe it was a game plan there from Durham, definitely was trying to attack Archwan Nichols already with 2 fouls in this one.
I don't think it was, didn't really look like a travel. It didn't even look like a block. It would have been more of a no-call type play. But they did call the charge on Rhodey and Artie. That is 4 team fouls for York.
And the Panthers are playing very hard. Might even question, you're 4-18, the season seems to be over. Why are you still playing so hard?
Oh, they're playing for pride.
Absolutely, and in
They're
a
playing for
conference
pride.
like this, just the bragging rights of being able to say, I held York out of the title. I am the reason that they are not the conference champions. That's reason alone to play big in a big game. We see it all the time in the pro leagues. Teams will try extra hard in their last games if it means keeping a team that they're rivals with, and of course, York and Proviso West, pretty big rivals, out of a
Nick
title.
Hesh
Great hook there from Hesh.
with the finish in a 4-2 game. Okay, what are we going to say? What's the over-under for points that York scores?
Well,
I'm going to go 45,
it's been
45
very,
and a half.
It's been very low scoring so far, but the Dukes have been known to put up points. Even if with Shockey not here,
Nice pass.
they were able to score a lot on Friday. Oh, and an and one. Hesh picks up an early foul.
They called it on the, oh, no, they did not call it on the floor.
Fouls on 33. Nick Hesh is first, team's 5th.
But I think my over-under with the low start thus far, I'm going to sit at 38 because sure, the Dukes are used to scoring, but 4 points in the first quarter seems pretty low for them.
It does.
The absence of Shockey clearly being heard. Fans murmuring before the game, what happened to Shockey? What happened to Shockey? Everyone's still wondering. It's not official. He has mono, but that is what the insiders are saying. And
That's the message that we've been told, that he does have it. Try to draw a charge. And a late call. Very unsure about what the call was.
same here. There's been a couple late calls so far, but better late than never.
I didn't know if it was a charge, but they would never address it as a charge.
Oh, I do believe it could not have been a charge because they already had Hesh for 1 foul on the defensive end. I think maybe they said he stepped out of bounds, but I didn't see
Potentially.
that either.
I mean, it's hard to see the out-of-bounds line from where we sit, but
Little runner there.
nice finish.
That's what the Dukes defense is great at forcing, is those runner shots that really don't hit more than 25% of the time. But Jacoby Lynch having no problem with putting it in.
Those runners and floaters.
Absolutely.
The game plan looks, it's gone into Hesh's hands a lot.
Because they're leaving him open with this trap. It's
That's
just
a reach.
the team's having a hard time finding Nick Hesh a lot of these times when they're being double teamed.
Well, one of the big things about this Proviso West defense is they'll get into foul trouble very quickly. They get into foul trouble, they'll reach. They try to force turnovers, but it doesn't always end well. And I think they already have a guy with 3 fouls. Or Brandolino from the corner, too strong.
And although those fouls can be concerning, holding the Dukes to 6 points in the first quarter, something's got to be working. And now it's PW with the ball.
Yeah.
6 seconds till the end of the quarter. Surely holding the ball for the last shot here, but not if Brando could steal it. Kircher with the ball. 1 second. Brando gets it off. Did he get it off?
Did he? They did.
They
He
counted
did.
it. Great
did.
heads-up play there by Kircher, getting the ball up to
No,
to Brandolino.
we have to go to our replay system. We are going to check our we don't have Pickle for this. He used to be our replay guy.
We will be back after this first quarter break. Low-scoring one thus far. The Dukes on top, 8-6. The Dukes win this one, though, their first conference victory since 2006. Great heads-up play there to end the quarter, and we'll be back with what we think happened in that final play of the quarter. following the break in between the first and second quarter. The Dukes are on top 8-6. Low scoring affair thus far. The Panthers defense has been very effective. It's their ball to start the second quarter. Kircher still on the court. Been playing very well so far for the Dukes. Heads up defensive rebounding and a great assist there to close the first quarter. Great to see a sophomore call-up getting that much action thus far. And that is Jacoby Lynch very visibly frustrated, and now Lex is the one frustrated as he's called for foul. Lynch definitely wasn't like what he was seeing on offense. He's explaining to Dontrell Brown what he would have liked him to do there. Maybe we'll see it in action here. Xavier Colbro with it now. Being double teamed at half court. Great pass inside. No foul call. Clean play there.
I thought Jeff could have got called for a foul there. No one really complained.
Sloppy basketball here to open the second quarter. Inside is PW.
The charge.
Wow! Tim Glavin.
He was
Great
there.
play.
He was ready, and he gets called. Draws the charge. Good job by Glavin.
And charges are the most underrated, majestic plays in basketball.
100%.
Putting your body on the line just to get your team the ball. It's absolutely great. You know a player cares about the game, about their team when you see them go for a charge like
Kyle
that.
Lowry in the All-Star game.
First one ever in an All-Star game.
Are you serious? Wow.
Ever.
He drew 2 charges. That was very impressive.
And that was because of the new change of the rules, which made the fourth quarters actually feel like they meant something.
Yeah.
That Kobe Bryant rule, hopefully one to stay. First time I felt excited watching an NBA All-Star game in my lifetime, certainly. That rule change certainly helped it. Now Chef Grace in the backcourt. Doesn't look like they're bringing the trap right away here. Brando in the corner. Back to Grace. Duke's looking like they're going to be a little more conservative here as that pass goes out of bounds off of Jacoby Lynch of the Panthers. And the pass in from Hesh to Lex. Hesh now gets it inside. Great move. Can't finish it, but Hesh jumps over the rim and just tips it in.
Smart play to do.
Very smart play.
That is the smart thing to do in that situation.
And a very underrated factor this game so far. Very impressed with the traveling Proviso West
It's out of bounds, and
team.
it's going York's way.
Speaking of other sports, we have a lot of spring sports to look forward to.
Oh, yeah.
Including lacrosse, girls
Baseball.
soccer, baseball. Of course, me and Bob will be on the call for those lacrosse games. If you're looking forward to it, make sure to let us know on the YSN Twitter account run by Bobby.
Also, if you want, we're not. Okay. You can donate $1 million, and Ryan Piquel will eat 5 pounds of spaghetti. We're still going with that, so.
Seems like it's said every stream, like, come on now, York Duke fans, give us our $1 million already. You won't have to hear it anymore. Hesh off from the mid-range, but grabs his own board. Gives it right up to Jeff.
You'll see some, well, not free entertainment, but some.
It's undeniable.
All of you except one of you would see free entertainment.
It's undeniable the team chem
traveling.
between Jeff and Hesh. And Hesh gets called for travels a lot. He voiced the frustrations to me. He said a lot of it is with the way he moves in the post. Refs call unprecedented travels. Hesh gets vocal about it sometimes. So does Doran.
Oh, yeah. I've been at those road games, and I believe that's Hesh on a foul. We will wait.
No, comes on Lex.
Oh. I did see him jump. I didn't know if they would have called it on.
Honestly, a bit of a break there for the Dukes.
Yeah.
You don't want to Hesh in foul trouble.
Yeah, no.
He looked up to the board to see if it was him or not. He was unsure, as well as Lex.
Proviso West has not shot well from the line nor the field.
Dontrell Brown now with a chance to cut it.
Would you say it's less than 25% that they've been shooting?
I would, but I would also say the Dukes aren't faring much better themselves. They've got a lot of offensive boards. I'd say they're definitely under 35 thus far. As Dontrell Brown just banks it in on the free throw.
The cheerleader said swish, but I am 100% positive that is not a swish. That hit the glass.
Still great to see him out here. Now it's Jeff being trapped. They're doing a great job breaking it as Hesh is open in the paint yet again. And again can't finish, but Glavin with the offensive board gets blocked. Oh, 2 different calls on the floor. The baseline ref called foul. The one further away from the play calls travel.
Okay.
York has 3 chances to score and can't capitalize on any of them.
That's very unfortunate. You have to capitalize on those chances. In about 30 seconds, we'll see how many. That's a travel. Oh, nope, double dribble. But hey, I could have seen a travel out of that too.
In essence, the same call. Now it looks like Proviso's bringing out the full court press. Their defense holding York to 10 with 5:25 to go in the second quarter. Very impressive. Got to think with the youth on this team, they could be exciting to watch in the sectional tournament that the Dukes are looking forward to in a couple years to come. Now it's Brando wide open in the corner. Off the mark. Both teams not shooting well from the field so far.
Out o' bounds.
And speaking of other sports, very impressed to see the girls cheerleading team here from Proviso West. Also, a huge shout out to the York girls team, who is currently competing in their playoff game as we speak. Would have loved to go to that one.
They actually, we have a final. They won 36-33 over Wheaton Warrenville South. So that means they will play in the regional championship on Thursday. Jeff can't finish.
Lavin
goes
like
up.
I said, York's insane at these offensive rebounds tonight. Great to hear that the girls are moving on.
That is good to hear.
Sounds like it was a nail biter, 36-33. We've seen a couple of those games with them so far this season. Ball retains with the Panthers. Bobby, Panthers still have not scored double digits thus far. What do you think the coach has to change in their game plan to get more open looks rather than these low percentage floaters and runners?
Have good ball possession, control the ball well. Drew.
That's where Drew really excels, is on that fast break. You can tell that he thought that one was going in.
It looked like he took an extra step from up here. We won't worry about it in the push, and both teams are now in the bonus.
And this current York Dukes team right now, currently 5th all-time in York wins, just behind the 2013-14 team. Of course, that team was led by the redhead Frank Toohey. Went on to play for the Air Force. He was
Will Sullivan, too.
Force to be reckoned with. Awesome player for the Dukes. Then in front of them was the 66-67 team. In front of them, the 61-62 team. York was very dominant in the 60s. And the all-time most winningest team last year.
Last year.
Dukes looking to add to that with a bit of a run in the sectional tournament.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and there he is, Genesis Mallet Floyd from the corner. And now it looks like they're getting the ball in Kircher's hands in the backcourt here. With Jeff off the court, it's a completely different feel to this York offense. Notice the defensive player for York, but he has made a huge impact on the offensive end as well. That was a clear double dribble there.
Not the smart thing to do by Jacob Randolino. We have a final of the West Suburban Conference. Lombard West falls to Lyons Township. Now that means nothing in standings. But, Brando swatted that out of bounds.
And all of the Dukes games against LT so far this year were very fun to watch. Thrillers. Of course, the first meeting, the Dukes came all the way back. That was a great one to watch.
The final was 56-47.
And that game seems much more out of hand than it was. The Dukes just really went off in overtime in that one.
Foul number 33, Nick Hesh, that's his second.
Hesh now has 2 fouls. Dukes already have 8 fouls. We were talking about Proviso West being in foul trouble. They actually have 2 less than the Dukes right now. Jeff Grace only with 1 foul. Dorn's telling him something right now. And as heard by the cheerleaders, that's a swish there from Joseph Amo.
That one did go through everything but the net. Did not hit the glass. Should say bank when it hits off the glass.
Oh, wow, and that one hits everything. Still goes in, though, Joseph Amo.
And a 2-point game. Yeah, Proviso West is a team where they are going to come in here as
Jeffrey Grace once again beats the trap. Dorn doesn't even elect for a timeout there. He trusts his players.
I'm sure they've been preparing on how to beat this trap. I mean, without Shockey, it's going to be different. And Drew to Hesh. Mal. I think he had that.
Malaga, Kircher, first 3 we've seen from him tonight. No good. And Glavin with the offensive rebound. These Dukes are grabbing boards left and right.
That's their big thing, offensive glass, and they've done strong.
And now it's PW with it, only trailing by 4.
Oh,
Really
nice
played their
pass.
hearts out tonight and displayed right there. Great inside pass and great finish by Joseph Amo.
Nice pass and nice finish.
Kircher gives it up to Grace now. Grace just goes straight through the trap. Little runner there. That's what's been hurting Proviso. Just hurt the Dukes there. Not high percentage shots, not shots they want to be taking. Good finish, but it did not go in there.
Fouls on 33. Nick Hess, that's his third.
Hesh now has 3 fouls. Seems like a storyline from earlier in the season. Already in foul trouble right now.
We're going to see Milo Man check in.
I think that's the right call in this situation. First one's off the mark. Amo made both last time. Hesh now goes to the bench. We likely won't see him till the second half. He's
Most
a player
likely.
they need on the floor, and 3 fouls is just not something they can afford with Shockey out right now.
It's questionable if you'd want to put in Rhodey.
And Amo misses both. Goes from making both to missing both. Now it's the Dukes on the attack. Jeffrey Grace all the way. Sloppy play there, trying to get the ball inside.
That went right through Milo's hands.
And now, just like that, the Panthers have a chance to potentially take the lead against a York team that going into this game definitely was favored to win conference.
Proviso West is trying to capitalize this. That's
Great
something they are
steal
not
there.
capitalizing on, Milo.
Oh! Milo with a good move just under the rim, but does get fouled on the way up. He'll go to the line to shoot 2 with a chance to extend this lead to a
Lost my,
2-possession one.
Lost my train of thought there. Proviso West, oh yeah, that's right. They're capitalizing on Shockey not being in, knowing, hey, this is going to be something we can capitalize on. And they've ran a very good defense.
I think that is part of,
But you know there's going to be holes in it.
I think that's part of the game plan thus far. Shockey's not in. Let's attack their guards. They've been doing just that, and they've had a lot of trouble getting the ball to the open men inside on the baseline. And even when they do, those shots just have not been falling for the Dukes. This Proviso West defense has very much impressed me thus far. Milo, no problem making them both.
Milo's right. They would come out strong. They would come out aggressive. Proviso West, that is. And they would play their game. And seeing their game, when they played York earlier this year, it was always a battle. It was never just back and forth. It was at 3 short, grabbed by Glavin. It was York was they had it under control. They just never had enough to pull away. They try to draw another charge. Mal, corner.
Oh, he didn't want to shoot it, but now he does. Jeffrey Grace.
You consider that a pass?
The fans just said good pass.
I was going to say, would you consider that to be a pass?
Absolutely not. But the York Dukes still all over the offensive glass, especially Jeffrey Grace. We've heard his name a lot tonight. Stepping up huge in the absence of Nate Shockey. And just like that, the Dukes went from up by 2 to up by 6 with possession of the basketball with 1:19 to go in the second quarter.
Well, I'm going to say this. We have not seen a whole lot of Lex. We saw a whole lot of him on Friday, and we saw a whole lot of him on Saturday. They're getting new, different players trying to play this game out. Corner 3 again, off the mark.
And I think part of why Lex isn't in the game right now is he does have 2 fouls. And one for Jeffrey Grace. Hard finish. Shockey's loving it.
He's got 6. Glavin has 5. It's just
6 is now the leading scorer for York. Not something we're used to say with the minute to go till halftime. Grace for a chance to extend the lead to 9. He does it. York's been knocking down those shots from the free throw line consistently this season and especially in this game. And the Panthers now with it at halftime, or at half court rather, a minute to halftime. Looking to slow down the pace a little bit, just get something going before half here. But that's not the look you want, and Doran is so upset with that foul call.
It's hard to hear people through the headphones. Like, we can hear each other through the technology of the soundboard, but you could hear him scream no. He was livid.
Of course, that's now 2 fouls on Malaga. Not something you want to happen. And there's the Panthers knocking down the free throw. That's Xavier Cobra at the line. His first point of the game.
Yeah,
looking to extend his points.
I just saw the replay. That did not look like a foul on Malaga. His hands were up. The Proviso West player leaned into him, trying to draw contact, and
something so common in today's game of basketball. The offense just looking for fouls. Worked out for him there. That's why in college they implemented the flopping rule. Glavin.
Yeah, he gets the fall.
Great play there. Now with 27 seconds to go, will the Panthers hold it for the last shot? Something so common in this conference of college basketball. 19 seconds to go. They have to take it all the way in.
Oh.
There's a whistle.
That looked
Late
like a
call.
travel.
Looks like it's going to be the Duke's ball with 16 seconds to
You
go.
gotta tell me that looked like a travel. He jumped up and he landed down. I mean, it will be York ball and all. We'll take it, but it looked like a travel a little bit to me.
Part of it to me, when he was in the air, it looked like he might have got tied up for a potential jump ball there. But
that might be what they're calling, and already.
Oh, wow. No-look pass to Glavin. Just wasn't ready for it. And now with 7 seconds, Proviso West pushing the pace. Inside, great pass. Double pumping shot. Joseph Mo.
Nice finish. Milo chucks it as far as he can.
And that now gets a Mo to 8 points on the night. Leading score for both teams here going into halftime.
Down in front of our one camera.
The Dukes lead by 7 with a chance to win the conference for the first time since 2006.
We'll try to get you a score of DGN and Hinsdale Central because that, as of right now, is a relatively big game. We have hit the half.
And we will be back right after this 10-minute break.
back after half here. We do have a score update that I wrote on a paper plate. Downers Grove North, they have a 27-16 lead over Hinsdale Central.
And
so
that is massive news for the Dukes.
So if a worst case scenario, that would mean
if you're the Airborne kids coming in with all their food. Speaking of Airborne kids, an Airborne kid at halftime beat one of our own, Dana Emmerich, in a shooting contest.
It's disappointing, but I mean, oh well. Now, like we were saying about Hinsdale Central, if York were to lose this, which would be very disappointing, and Hinsdale Central, they would still win. So right now they have to, the best case scenario here is a win, because I don't think Coach wants to get interviewed saying after a loss, it's like you just won conference, how do you feel? It's like you're like,
it's still a good feeling, but it's bittersweet after you just lost to a 4-18 Proviso West Panthers team.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, it's been a great one here. The lead here is 7. The lead in DGN versus Hinsdale Central is 11. And we are here for the second half of basketball, where the Dukes are on top, 25-18. Bobby, following that first half, obviously Proviso West wasn't the best in the field, settling for a lot of runners and floaters. What do you think they need to do to improve that on the offensive end of the basketball this half?
Can you repeat that, sorry?
What do you think Proviso West needs to do to improve on the offensive end of the basketball this
Smarter
half?
shots. I won't even let you finish. Smarter shots. They gotta be smarter. Shooting wise, that's the big thing. That sound means we are about to start the third quarter.
And right off the bat, a big decision from Coach Doran. I see that Hesh is on the floor with 3 fouls. Very bold. Definitely telling Hesh to play hands-up basketball. Something that we've been used to saying this season from the Dukes. Hopefully Hesh can stay true to it here, because he's fouled out a lot this season.
Hesh, that is? Yeah.
And it's the Panthers with it, looking to gain a little momentum. They had a lot coming into those final 2 minutes of the first half. Let it all dwindle. We see a new player in for them here, Maurice Coleman. He's up top with it now.
The 33 in red.
And Proviso West has used all 8 of their players thus far. That one's off the mark. Early foul call.
Coach looks frustrated.
Oh no. That foul's on Nick Hesh. That is the problem with playing a player like that straight out of half. He's now a foul away from that 5 mark.
I wonder if he'll play for the rest of the third quarter. They'll run with 2 bigs, of course, something York. Oh.
Just throws it off Lex's back there.
That happened at the Oak Park game. Jeff Grace, he inbounded off Isaiah Barnes. If you don't know who Isaiah Barnes is, you probably should. He's a he's a D1 bound athlete.
Not to override you there, but that's one of those shots we've seen them miss consistently tonight. Great shot there from Jacob Rawlings. Continue with your point about the Jeff Grace.
And Jeff Grace did that to Isaiah Thomas. He threw it off his back, caught it, and made a layup over Isaiah Barnes. And Barnes was very frustrated about that. Denton Rohde can't finish.
Now Proviso West looking to make it a 1-possession game.
It's gone very up-tempo.
Now they're opting to slow it down a little bit, or at least Jacob Rawlings is trying to. Now it's Proviso West with the ball. 6:54 to go in this third quarter. Second half just underway. If you're just tuning in, Nick Hesh already at the 4 foul mark. He's been in foul trouble a lot this season. Continues tonight. Played him right out of the half, and they called a questionable foul on him near the end line. That could be potential momentum for these Panthers. And there's one of those runners that just have not been falling for them tonight. They've taken a lot, they just haven't been going in. Jeffrey Grace through 2 defenders.
Can't finish.
No good. But that's what they've been doing great all night.
Rohde.
Rebound and score from Denton Rohde. Huge momentum stopper there.
Ooh. Coach is down there wanted over and back. He did not. It's a smart call by the official. Dude, these Airborne kids have an entire pizza. This is insane. It's kind of funny too.
But rather than food, got to stay on the hardwood for this one. Of course, the Dukes have a chance of winning conference.
Well, you know Pickle would be focused on food. Ryan Pickell would be very focused on food. That'd be his big thing.
Absolutely. And we'll focus on food. We'll focus on the entire celebration if the Dukes come away with the conference, but we got to stay focused on it here. Can't get sidetracked by the fact that DG ends up 11 on Hinsdale Central right now. And now it's Lex with it, going to work. Foul call. Now the Proviso West fans really showed out today, traveling to watch this game. There's a lot of people
very
over
close.
here.
They're very close by. They're right across.
Right in Westchester.
Hillside, Berkeley. Westchester is LT. Shot couldn't fall.
But it is the feeder for Westchester kids, not LT. So it's a bit of a debacle there. I know it doesn't seem like it would be so from the outside, but a lot of kids from Westchester attend schools like Montini and NAS, other private schools.
Well, NAS is right in their backyard.
Absolutely, it's right there.
We saw them during
and
the
a lot of
time.
them used to
Both those
attend
schools you just
schools
listed.
like St. Joe's. Of course, they've always had a great basketball program.
They have.
Produced Isaiah Thomas.
The first Isaiah Thomas.
Yes, not the one.
The original one, not the
and
the one who
quite
played
arguably
in
the better one.
Yes, the one who played in the 20th century. Yeah, 20th century.
And that's Xavier Cobrel from the line, knocking it down. And now Drew Kircher's in for the pass in. He's been getting a lot of playing time this game, making immediate impact. Oh, great down court pass. Accurate pass there from Jeffrey Grace. Lex going inside.
Can't finish.
Fought on the way up. He'll shoot two against. That's a really deep three. Just off the iron. And Denton Rohde with the defensive rebound. We've been saying his name a lot tonight on the glass. Great board there from him. Lex inside to Glavin. Grace wants the ball outside. He is open. Now they find him. Jeffrey Grace driving outside. Drew Kircher, his second attempt from three.
Oh, knocks it down. Drew Kircher knocks it down.
The whole team is loving it. Nate Shockey's getting excited with him.
And Coach Dorn seemed to be frustrated with Denton Rohde.
That's the very intense thing about Doran. They're up 10 here. It really doesn't matter to him. For every game for him, it's 10 seconds left in the fourth tie game. It doesn't matter what's going on. He wants to put his best basketball on display. As we see the Flyers.
Drew Kircher has 5 points.
The Flyers for the Proviso West cheerleaders going to work. The Dukes up 10. Proviso West Panthers basketball. I know it's a Tuesday, but I'm a little surprised not to see more students out here on a game with this much momentum hanging on it.
Oh, this is a big game too.
Of course, everyone mentions last year's York team as one of the greatest York teams of all time with a 29 win mark, but they did not even win conference. This would be a massive mark for this York team, trying to get revenge for last season.
And they haven't won it since 06, and they weren't on that list of teams that you mentioned that was so great. Out of the teams you listed, I don't know, that 13-14 one, they did not win conference.
That 13-14 team did make a very big run in the tournament, however. I believe they made it to the semifinals, really led there by Frank Toohey, the red-headed big man who went to Air Force, played a lot of minutes there. I believe he averaged something like 13.2 by his senior year.
Oh, that ball, I think it hit the Charger. Our editor told us that it hit the Chargers. That's if that hit our camera, that would have not
Sorry,
been
Mr.
good.
Chambers. And now it's Drew Kircher in the backcourt, just under half of this third quarter.
If the camera's only shaking, that's okay. But if it were to fall, we'd be in a big hole.
We'd be in a bit of a Ryan Pickle.
Okay, yeah. Let's get creative with the
Glavin
names.
with it. Wow.
Tim Glavin.
Going through everybody. That gets him up to 9 points. Panthers working it around. Shot in the corner. He's been firing a lot today. Genesis Mount Floyd. You've seen him knock those down. Really been a bright spot for this Proviso West team. And wow! Jeffrey Grace doesn't care that there's a defender in his way. Works right around him. Off the glass. Puts it in. Extends the York lead to 14. Seen a lot more of Marlik Coleman this half. He has the ball right now.
Kircher had a hand in there.
Gives it up to Joseph Amo.
Oh, he wanted charge. did look like there was a push-off on drill.
Nonetheless, it does remain Panthers basketball. Flex subbing out now for Brando. And that has happened a couple times this game on Proviso West inbounds. They maintain possession. It's moving around a little bit. York's very heads up on those steals. And I think Bobby's looking for an update on one of the scores of the Suburban games right now.
I was looking at the DGN Hinsdale one. There, we don't have one. Tim Glavin. Oh, that's
he's a big
nice
guy,
steal.
but he's playing like 100 pounds there, just running and intercepting the pass. And now it's Kircher with another steal.
And a timeout.
Timeout on the floor. It's a full timeout.
That's now the second time.
That's a good job by Drew
this
Kircher.
game
He's been
that we have seen Coach Vince Doran call a timeout when Kircher's on the floor. Seems like for other players he doesn't do that. Wants to get Drew used to varsity and
well, Drew was in a little bit of a trap, to say the least. So it was probably the smart decision calling a timeout. We'll take a quick timeout.
Dukes on the cusp of something that hasn't happened since 2006, a conference title. This team seems poised to do it. If they can win games without Shockey, they can certainly be a force to reckon with if they make it further enough for him to come back from mono. Now it's Kircher all the way inside. He's not afraid to shoot it. Oh, just off the mark there.
Tim Glavin,
But another great fight on the offensive side of the ball from the Dukes.
Well, here's going to be the surprising thing that I don't know if a lot of people are going to agree with me on this. I think Nate could have had mono for the past 2 weeks and we didn't know. I was talking to the assistant athletic director, Miss Wilkie of York. Is Jeff Grace with a nice strong finish. Nate did not look too good the past 2 weeks. Like 2 weeks ago, he did not look like he was like kind of dragging himself into school. So for all we know, he might have had it for 2 weeks already, and it was kind of a risk.
Although that is very dangerous and would not be something you'd want to happen. The good thing is he did make it through that, and if it has been 2 weeks, there's high potential that Shockey could be back for the playoffs, as of course.
And the big thing here is your spleen.
Yes, the big case with mono this season, Sam Darnold of the New York Jets, his spleen was enlarged. The same thing happened with Shockey. Of course, York doesn't have the same medical team as an NFL team, but Darnold was able to make it back with protective gear after 4 weeks. If 2 weeks of it have already happened, Shockey's made it through the worst of it. His spleen will still be enlarged. If they're able to get him a protective piece to play in the playoffs, Shockey could certainly be back.
He really hadn't been at practice. Or, no, he had been in practice. He just, like, but he always looked tired, never seen there. And that's, like, one of the symptoms of mono. You're always tired, fatigue.
A lot of weight loss, so that's something that they'll have to keep up with too, because if he's already experienced that, it is likely that the mono had already started. And Bobby,
he looks fine, because because it's contagious, and if it's bad enough, I don't think he'd be here.
I agree. Well, while I do agree with that, Shockey's a guy who I feel like no matter what would push through it and would want to be at these final games of his senior season.
I think Jeff got called with a charge there. That's his second. And remember that Bolingbrook game, the Jack Tosh title. Remember, Jeff fouled out in the third quarter. He's done a much better job defensively with fouls. And not saying a lot of other people are picking up fouls because you don't want that. But he's cleaned up his game from earlier this year.
That shot's off the mark there. He certainly has, and that was an X factor in that game because he was playing so well. Rhodey, awkward finish there
I'm
fouled
just
on
going to
the
say
way
this.
up.
Denton, you have to finish that shot. It's almost I don't want to say unexcusable, but you should be able to finish.
Team's third.
But that Wilson under the line to shoot 2. He can make up for it here by making both of these. Makes the first one regardless of the cheerleaders yelling at him.
And Jeff will check out.
You could see the excitement in all of these York players, and Coach Doran, 17-point lead here, looking to win that conference title.
Never won a conference title. He's never made it farther than the sectional semifinal, or sectional championship, excuse me. He's hoping for change this year.
Brody off the mark there.
Drew
Kircher ends up
fell.
on the ground.
I think he got pushed. Hard to tell. Rody with the steal.
That one's off the hands of Nichols. He picked up fouls early, but unlike Hash, he was able to play with 3 fouls. Really hasn't fouled since then. Kircher inside to Rody. Rody through 3 people.
Can't get
just
it
off
through
the
all.
mark. And we've yet to see that clear YSM play of the day thus far. A lot of it's due to the slower pace of both of these teams. But they're having a lot of fast breaks, a lot of great steals by Drew Kircher. Thus far, Bobby, what do you think's the favorite play you've seen?
Fouls on number 5, Arshawn Nichols.
It's hard to tell. Hard to tell being this early.
Panthers, team sport.
I can't really give you an answer on that just yet.
I think, in my personal opinion, certainly at least the most hyped up play where the crowd was the most excited so far was definitely that Drew Kircher 3-pointer.
Yeah.
Now,
that was nice and all, and
that's what I was just gonna say. A 3-pointer, not the most exciting play, but in a position where you want to win conference, they're not doing anything too crazy. They just want to get it done. There's a foul there. The Proviso coach was looking for a travel, and Coach Doran unhappy, as it is now Proviso West basketball, trailing by 17 with 25 seconds to go in this third quarter. Doesn't look like they're trying to hold for the last shot. Unconventional for a high school team.
That'd have been a nice scoop layup.
But now the Dukes get to hold for the final shot.
Glavin has a lot of offensive, or just not offensive, rebounds.
Oh, a travel call.
Well, that's,
and
I won't say killer.
A lot of it could be because not only is Nate Shockey obviously not on the court, but neither are 2 other prominent starters, Jeffrey Grace and Nick Hesh. They've started all season. They're not on the court here due to foul trouble. I think they're trying to save Jeffrey Grace for this fourth quarter.
They're trying to save his energy. That's the big thing.
But that could have been a reason for that foul there. A lot of their experienced players, a lot of their players who've been starting all year weren't on the court there to break that trap, as Grace has been doing well all game. 5 seconds to go here. West inside. 2 seconds left. Chalks it up a little too early. Drew Kircher's loving it. And at the end of the third quarter, the York Dukes are up 17, looking to claim that first conference title since 2006.
8 minutes.
And in between,
8 minutes.
There's 8 minutes until greatness. And in between this third and fourth quarter, we'll be right back. Bobby was just saying before this fourth quarter, we're 8 minutes from York Duke's history. We're 8 minutes from a potential conference title, barring a miracle. It looks like York could do it here, up 17 over this Proviso West team.
Yeah.
And the pass in here is going to be York
Kircher
Duke's basketball.
I wonder if he has a cramp in, or or he's just tired. It's one of the two.
He's walking around. It looks like they're still opting to keep Hesh on the bench here. Up 17.
Probably the smart decision.
Almost, even if it's not just to protect against that foul, could be a to protect his morality. He's fought out of a lot of games this season, and just being able to keep that one off the tally could be big for him. Not a necessity here.
I don't. Our scores table, we can see. I was seeing a flashing light.
The possession arrow does not look like it's
possession
working.
arrow that faces the York direction is not working. Lex's shot can't fall.
Oh, that pass is just great inside. It looked like he almost wanted to dunk it there. Rare offensive rebound for the Panthers. Almost got another one. Great play there from Glavin. And now it's York on the attack. Glavin inside. Here's the back out. They're in no rush to score here, as they really shouldn't be, up 17 with 7:15 to go in the fourth quarter. Bobby. Oh my Lanta.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we might have the YSN play. That was it.
There's your YSN play.
That is a beautiful layup by Luke Malaga.
Wow, and that's his first points of the day, too. What a way to get him. And it looked like Xavier Cabral was trying to do what he did there, trying to pull his own Malaga.
Goodness, that was a beautiful finish.
But as I was saying, this is something that almost gets brought up in all of our broadcasts, Bobby. I still have to bring the question up. In a situation like this, York's up by 19. Parents, fans alike of both teams, it would almost be a lot more exciting if there was a shot clock, even as a York fan, even if it's something excessive like 35 seconds. We've seen teams in tournaments hold the ball for upwards of 4 minutes going into halftime. It's just not what you like to see.
It almost gets boring with that point, and I agree we should have a shot clock, whether it be 30, 40 seconds. Like, you don't want it the NBA where it's 24, because that's almost Jeff Gray's nice finishing. Because some of these offenses that high school teams run are and Glavin called on the block.
And
they take longer than 24, 25 seconds to run.
Especially because you want the players to get experience.
And
this isn't a pro level of basketball, but it certainly is presentable enough where you'd want people to have a fun time watching it. That really is the point of high school sports, is for the players and fans alike to be able to have an enjoyable experience. And if you're a team like Proviso West, just having to wait for the Dukes holding the ball, that's not typically something Vince Doran does, but other teams certainly just holding the ball in these situations, not really something you like to see.
No.
And the Dukes currently have double Proviso West score. Coming out of half, it looked like it was going to be a very tight game. The Dukes pulled
finish, but that
very far ahead.
They've gotten on a run. A big third quarter, well short.
And Malik Coleman's been off the mark quite often today. Let's see if he can capitalize on the second free throw. He can. And as you're saying, this Proviso West team is playing for pride. And at this point, they just don't want to lose by as much as they are. Anything they can to pull it closer. They understand they're 4-18. And they understand this Duke team they're going up against will likely be the winners of this conference.
Oh, yeah.
If you're the Proviso West coach, what are you telling your players right now, just for something to build on, not only for the rest of this season, but going into next year with this very youthful team?
Tim Glavin couldn't get that one to go. Just building confidence, being smart mentally is a nice finish. Make the smart plays. Don't try to do too much. Do the plays that are designed, because it almost seems like they are trying to do too much or trying to have their own style of plays. Lex Harrison.
Very true. It seems like they're trying to establish the fact that if York's going to give them runners and floaters, they're going to take them. It's just strategy hasn't been working out for them today. It's not their typical offense. Maybe if they stick to what they knew, it would be a closer one. It looks like that's what they're trying to do now, get the ball inside. The ref looked like he was going to call a foul there. Then he realized that was a clean block. Very clean and hard block there from Denton Rohde.
I was going to say, I thought they were going to call a foul too.
Now it's Lex Harrison being trapped in the corner.
That's a foul. Now, you're down 20. There's no need to foul here.
Especially with 5:32 to go in the fourth.
Yeah.
You'd like to see them go for the trap that they've been running all game, go for some steals in the backcourt. Because, of course, the one stalling rule high school does have, you still can't just hold the ball in the backcourt. You have to get it across half court.
Yeah, 10 seconds. Believe in the NBA, it's It's 8 seconds.
It is 8.
It's 8. College, I also believe it's 10. I believe that's right.
In college, it may be 8 as well, but going back to the NBA All-Star game and a game with many firsts, it did also have the first
Dan
8-second
Wagner
call.
checks in, so guys with little experience are going to get playing time.
And the fans love him. Very electric, and when he comes on, everyone's excited. As we're seeing York fans starting to leave the gym with this 20-point lead. Proviso West is trying to play for pride, and we are witnessing a York Dukes team that's been years in the making. Last year, of course, the monumental season for the Dukes, but this year will be one that will be referenced for years, as it looked like these York Dukes, currently on top by 20, will have their first conference victory since 2006. And that 2006 team wasn't even on that top 5 records for the York team.
Is that on Wagner? That's on Dan Wagner, I think.
That wasn't me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was Pickle.
Fouls on number 42, Dan Wagner, is his first, team 7.
And of course, when Ryan Pickell gets here, there's always an instant impact.
Yeah,
He's just got to do something crazy.
there's
just
always an impact.
throwing caps at people.
You launched it off the water bottle. He didn't throw it, he just straight up launched it. I thought he was going to launch it at me for a second. I think that's what he was trying to do. Launch the water bottle cap at me? Oh my God. And of course the first thing he says is, I want spaghetti. So.
And on the topic of spaghetti, of course you've already referenced the $1 million donation. Ryan told me last night his dad made him spaghetti and he wasn't the biggest fan of it, kind of bland. Sorry, Mr. Pickell, you could have upped your game, and we'll make sure that if you donate the $1 million, it'll be prime spaghetti.
Fouls on number 3, Josh Doxey
But
Simmons, his
back to the
third,
hardwood is the food's not what to focus on right now. York's in the midst of winning their first conference title, and it looks like they're starting subbing even more backups. Jeffrey Grace, unfazed by the cheer team, knocks it down. And on the sideline, Luke Malago just visibly ecstatic with what he's witnessing right now. Smiling, high-fiving his teammates. Him and Glavin just both look extremely happy with what they're in the making of right now.
Did that go out of bounds? It did go out of bounds. We're going to have Milo Man check in, I would assume, for Jeff Grace.
And everyone's clapping for Jeff Grace. What a game. What a season it's been for him. He's a huge reason that they are where they are right now.
What a performance by Jeff Grace.
He really is.
And a Proviso
really
West player and Jacob Brandolino are having a talk with the official, so there's always something interesting happening.
And it does go to Brando.
Brando, you got to make a smarter pass. Drew gets called on a reach. That is his third.
We want Tyler.
Fouls on 21, Drew Kircher,
And
that's his
Dane
third.
wants Tyler.
I want Tyler.
Dane wants
I want
Tyler.
Rosenstein. I want Hencher. We want Bobby. Might put Bobby in.
Shot, no
No
good.
good. And
Wags with the board.
everyone's excited about that one.
I thought he passed that to himself.
Here's Brando with it. Gives up to Man. Now it's Drew. Kircher inside.
Oh, he's trying to get it.
Passes off. And even though this is garbage time, likely won't make a difference. It is clear the different team York is without players like Rhodey, without players like Glavin, and certainly without players like Jeffrey Grace.
I think Nick Hesh is done for the day. Something's telling me that.
I think they all likely could be, unless if they find a way to pull this closer. 4:23 to go in this fourth quarter. We're back following the Dukes timeout. Doran opting to keep the same lineup in, but just wanting to get them some experiences. They were not playing very well against this trapping full court press.
You got to get that across. Okay, they do.
They still look under distress. Brando gets fouled. Proviso West hates it. Coach throws the clipboard. And that sends Brando to the line to shoot a 1-and-1. He got
Knocks it down.
It looked like he was falling back to go on defense there. Didn't like his release, nonetheless. Calls this game, but you got to think bad calls cannot really precedent a 19-point deficit.
Yeah.
I know it's Mellion's fault.
That is Kircher's 6-point.
Proviso West cheerleaders still staying strong with the no-shot chant, regardless of this 21-point deficit. And now they're just shooting threes. It's off the mark. Great offensive board there. That shot is good from Joseph Lamo.
Very 49-30. Our score.
Kircher. Uh-oh. It's in!
Dan Wagner. Dan Wagner.
Everyone in the gym's happy about that one.
Oh, corner three. Bang.
He got it. Of course, Genesis Mallard Floyd gonna make that one. He's been going off this game. He's really been one of the lone bright spots on this team, alongside Nichols and Amo.
Dan just missed that.
The deepest squad, only 8 players.
Whistle.
I believe they called a 3-second there.
That's fair.
They're all launching threes now, and he got it again. Where was this all night? 2 in a row. That one's in from Malik Coleman.
Showed up. Oh,
and
Kircher.
another steal.
Oh, I think Milo punched that out.
And Mr. Chambers, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for whatever's coming. It looks like Mikey and Dane are putting your face on something.
It's the new background for our editing computer, which I mean it's fine.
Another steal. Oh, I don't think that was a foul. The Proviso West coach certainly doesn't think it's a foul. He is fed up, running around. And with 2:45 to go in this fourth quarter, Dukes are on the line, up 15. And it looks like the results of the DGN versus Hinsdale Central game will not matter. If York wins this one, the conference will be clinched regardless. And that small hope Hinsdale Central was holding on to, slowly dwindling as York is on top of the Panthers here. The Dukes, everyone in the conference is truly starting to fear the monocle. This is their year. And regardless of the outcome of that DGN game, although we do wish the best to both teams, even if the Trojans do come on top, it does not look like the Dukes will need their help, as they are on top by 16 with 2:41 to go in this fourth quarter. Proviso West looking for anything they can get.
We do have another score update. Downers Grove North, they lead 36-30 heading into the fourth quarter. So Hinsdale had a good third.
Third quarter.
Third quarter, thank you.
As I was just saying,
I couldn't say that.
This is, although that game seemed like it could have massive implications going into this, barring a miracle, it looks like regardless of that one, regardless of the help from the Downers North Trojans, the Dukes will come out on top of the conference with the win here against the Panthers. Panthers definitely starting to clean up their act a bit towards the end of the fourth quarter. Of course, a lot of that is because these York backups are in, but they have been making their open shots, something that they hadn't been doing earlier in the game. You got to question if this was here all game, what could have been happening. And it looks like York's just going to take advantage of the no shot clock rule.
Are they going to try to get it to Wagner? Oh, I thought they were going to have Wagner shoot that.
Looks like they're just milking the clock.
Well, you don't want to get called for 3. Oh, that's a. Oh, Denton. I couldn't get it.
Great dribble through 2 players there from the Panthers, but he does trip. And a foul call.
And everyone around us is frustrated. Coach is frustrated.
Like I said earlier, this zone, it really doesn't matter to him that we're up 14 with a minute 53 to go. He plays every game like it's 10 seconds left in the 4th quarter, tie game. And he is extremely upset with that foul call on Drew Kircher. You got to think part of it is because Drew is new to the team. A lot of it's got to be because of his morale. Don't want him following out one of his first games on varsity.
That did look like he tripped over his own feet. I think Kircher was just there.
And both of our over-under totals for this game for the Dukes were actually under what ended up happening.
Oh, Wagner slid out of bounds.
Following that slow first half,
oh my,
they've certainly turned it on in the second
cow.
half.
I don't know who Dane is talking to.
Uh-oh, Drew Kircher.
He's gonna throw it out.
Looking for some payback. Did you just say? Did you just ask if Drew Kircher was gonna throw it down?
Yes. Probably can.
And right when Drew went down, all of his teammates were quick to help him up. Drew goes to the line. He's a deadly shooter. Expecting to make at least one of these. And hopefully be able to put the game away for the Dukes.
You hope Drew isn't hurt. He is a big part of this team.
And it's crazy to say that because he did just get called up to the varsity team just a short week ago, but he is impacting
Not even
those
a week.
games.
It's been 5 days, I think.
And
how many days ago was Friday? 5? You don't know.
But regardless,
4. It was 4 days.
Although it was a massive hit for the sophomore team, since then they've not been the same team.
Oh.
Played closely to the Proviso West sophomore team and just got absolutely obliterated on Friday. It just shows how much of an impact Kircher will make, not only this year but for years to come, especially when his sophomore teammates move up to the next level next year.
That one goes out of bounds again. We are a minute 36 away. And Sean Maher will check in. Out goes Jacob Brandolino, so that means we will probably see the Tyler Olson, Gavin Hendren, and Luke Rosenstein. That bus will shortly arrive here. Tyler Olson, he got significant minutes. I'm not going to say significant. He had a good amount of minutes in games this year.
And really the only player you're used to seeing on the court consistently all season for this Dukes team that's on the floor right now is Denton Rodius. He has it. Looking to get it away.
Milo, man.
Is it up?
Milo started. He's a big player in that MLK tournament. I'm sure Drew is.
He's a big piece for the future of this team. When Shockey leaves, they'll need a player like Drew to be in there.
And we're going to see the 3 that we just mentioned, Olson, Hendren, and Luke Rosenstein.
And everyone on the York side's cheering. They're all looking forward to it.
Out goes Rhodey, Kircher. Milo, man, will head out eventually.
And this is likely Milo's final shot of this game. As he makes it.
54-38. Immediately following this one, I will go interview Coach Dorn following the conference title.
Certainly excited to hear his input. Of course, he is a huge piece of what York.
Oh my goodness! They brought him in 2012, and it's the team has completely looked different. It's been a different.
It reminds you of like a Scott Drew situation, even a Bob Huggins situation. He just completely turned the entire program around in such a short time. Not that it was awful before, but he's done something with this program that York's been looking to do for seasons now, with just over a minute away from York officially being the West Suburban Conference champion.
Whose hands do we want it in? Who do we want taking the final shot here? Dan Wagner. Oh, he got swatted.
Everyone got up and was
Oh,
looking for
Sean almost grabbed it. Nope, he lost it.
And these York players are still playing hard here because they don't get much time. And everyone's excited to see him in there.
Gavin Hendren with the deflection. Deflects it out of bounds. I believe that's his probably, what, first deflection? Drills the three. And it's a 14-point game again. Timeout, Panthers.
And this reminds me of your point earlier with the late game fouls. Unless if they're doing this for substitutions, which I'm not sure is even worth it either way at this point. I'm not very understanding of this timeout call, but nonetheless it happened. And we will be back after this timeout. We are 42.5 seconds away from witnessing York Duke's history. And 40 seconds from York Duke's history. It's right in reach now as they get it across court.
Oh. I know Dan doesn't get big minutes, but Dan, you got to make a smarter pass than that. This one can't go. Wags, rebound. Olsen.
Great little spinning move from
It's
him,
a spin.
from
Oh
him
my.
there. Just throws out of bounds.
That was aimed towards Mr. Hyman and Mr. Urbanski. Front row, section 5. That's a deep three. My gosh.
He's been lighting up recently.
The shortest guy on the team, Tyler Olsen. The shortest guy on the floor actually just grabbed that board.
And this York Dukes lineup, certainly not what their starters are. They're going to make the final score look closer than it was. It'll do no justice to what the Dukes did, as the York Dukes just won conference for the first time since 2006. Bobby Hessling will be down there to interview Coach Doran after such an amazing feat. Regardless of the finish of the Downers Grove North Trojans game, the Dukes just won conference for the first time since 2006. Absolutely massive, and really it can be shown by everyone on the team. Without Shockey, key players stepped up and they did what they needed. That's the main thing this York team does well. They know how to play their roles. Players like Nick Hesh, comparable to players in college basketball like Mark Vital, doing everything that you would ever want to see players do, and everyone at center court's getting hype. York has done it. They really have. The York Dukes are the West Suburban Conference champions. As we await Bobby to go interview Coach Doran on this massive victory. The entire York team fired up. And even though players like Nate Shockey were not here tonight, they were able to pull away, able to get the win, and this is just a massive game for everybody. And yeah, the York Dukes have won conference for the first time since 2006, and now I'm going to let Bobby Hessling take it away at center court with his interview of Coach Doran following this team picture.
The York boys team has won the outright championship in the West Suburban Conference. Congratulations.
Interview?
Yeah, hold on. Let's get you in the picture. We're going to get a picture with everybody.
This is good. AJ Stalling.
This is the live stream. Oh, no one's watching. Oh, no, we have like 30 minutes. Is that working?
Hey, yeah. Hey, we got a question. Hold on. One question. One question.
Ask the question.
Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Yeah. Let's go.
People remember me. Nate's obviously a very special player, but for us to win the last 3 conference games without him says a lot about all the other kids, and I feel like they've been overlooked quite a bit this year. Nate deserves all those accolades. However, it's a team game, and these guys have played so well as a team on both ends of the floor, and that's what counts the most, and they really proved that the last 3 nights.
How big has Drew Kircher been? He called him up Friday night, and he looks terrific. He ate a huge 3 here today. What has he done well?
Yeah, the kid's got a lot of guts. I mean, to come in at Oak Park, I mean, Downers North, he was very good Friday, but to come into Oak Park and as a sophomore do what he did, he probably doesn't realize, which is maybe a good thing, how big he was. Just played without any fear and just was a big contributor and says quite a bit about him and how his attitude is and how he competes. So very thankful to have him ready to go. Also credit Coach Pearl for having him ready to go. Without any practice, without one practice, he came up and just, it was like he was with us all year.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Yeah, thanks, Marty. Thanks for everything.
Go celebrate.
See you guys, thank you.
I'm going to the locker room.